Hey guys, Professor Autoflower here, and welcome to the Grow Tent. I know it's been a while since I've last posted, but I'm back and excited to dive into a new Autoflower journey. And for my first grow bag, I'll be growing just a single Autoflower, trying to fill up the whole 3x3. I decided to go with a Mystery Mescala from Alabrije Genetics. Right now it's on day 7. Since it's still early on and just a waiting game right now, we will look at the Mystery Mescala a little closer in the next video. Today we'll be having some fun outside of the tent with my most recent harvest, Smokeys stash from Night Owl Seeds. I think what I have in store is pretty awesome. Right now, Smoky's stash is in the drying tent, just waiting to be trimmed. Lately, trimming has just been an exhausting chore. More and more, I find myself, after about 20 minutes of grueling hand trimming, breaking out the manual bowl trimmer to finish the job. I've been willing to sacrifice some bud and trichome loss if it means not spending multiple hours in trim jail. My plan today is to lessen that loss and take my trimming to the next level with the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer. This thing looks decent and I can't wait to try it out. If you like what you see in today's video, you can check it out at hygrohub.com. The link will be in the description. It sells right now for $19.99, but if you use code AUTOFLOWER25 at checkout, you'll save 25%. The price tag might be high, but the time it can save you is priceless. Before we take a look at the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you would like to help support the channel and the Grow Tent so I can continue to pump out the content, head over to my Patreon and become a member. The link is in the description. Now let's get to the video. Here we are in the drying section of my grow space with the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer. We're going to unbox it, put it together, and trim some buds. So let's see what's inside this massive box. It looks like we found our first part. This is the controller, or the brains behind the operation. We'll get some of this other stuff out of the way. It looks like there's some supports right there. Another one for the other side. Get that. So now we can see our full controller, which looks to be attached to this drum, which is where the magic happens. I'll get this all pulled out of the box and then we'll take a closer look. From the outside, it's looking like a pretty simple setup. You got your drum and controller again, a nice big platform with some wheels for mobility, and then you got your legs to support the drum. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be, which is a good thing. It's definitely big enough to do the job. They say it could trim about a half pound in about 3 to 5 minutes. That might vary a little bit, but I'll take it. Inside the drum, we could open up the acrylic top. You can see we have some instructions and extra parts, the power plug. You can see the agitator down there, which is really nice, a nice soft silicone. Underneath there you can see a blade down there and a fan. Finally, we have our outlet chute that goes on the outside of the drum. I'll somehow get this chute out of the drum and put everything together, and then we'll see what we're working with. And here it is, all set up in its glory, ready to go, the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer. All we need now is some dried bud. Smokeys stash, come on down. And there she is, ready to take on the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer. The Smokeys stash came out really nice. It's in that chem family, so a lot of chem terps. The Smokeys stash came out extremely frosty, so it'll be a good test to see if those trichomes stay intact when they're inside that drum tumbling around. I'm going to go ahead and buck these buds, and then we'll come back and see this thing in action. Here we are, finally ready to see this thing in action. We've got our Smoky stash buds piled up, ready to go. I didn't realize just how nice these were until I got up close to them and got my hands on them. You can see just how frosty they are. Nice and dense golf ball nugs. Even the smaller nugs are nice and dense, so no larf whatsoever. Really nice buds from the Smoky stash. Now we can see the trichome coverage right now. I'm hoping to see that same trichome coverage once the buds come out of the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer. Now I'm sure it's going to take me a few harvests to really dial this thing in, but you can see we're ready for the first test. I got some buds spread out in the drum. I didn't really load it up like it could be, so we'll start with this. The blade height is around in the middle somewhere. You can adjust it with this knob. This box here is actually the collection box. The trim is going to fall into this nylon bag. So we got our first set of buds ready to go. So let's close the lid and turn this puppy on. For dried bud, they recommend a lower speed, so that's what we'll be starting with. We got our roller and then our blade. There they go. You could open up these flaps as well to create different airflow so the buds don't get all bunched up. See some nice agitation in there. Not really beating those buds up too much. So after a very short first test, things are going great. You can see some of those buds still have some trim left on them, so they definitely need to tumble around a little longer, but they're holding up very nicely. I might need to raise the blade a little bit higher, but you can see down here in the trim bag, I'm only noticing trim. I'm not noticing those smaller buds or the lower part of the buds getting all chopped up, which is what I was a little worried about. But so far so good, so let's keep it going. That batch is done and looking good. Now the rest of the buds are in. We'll get these trimmed up and see the end result. Now that we're done, the one great thing I'm noticing is that I'm not seeing this drum covered in trichomes. There's a little dusting, but not nearly what there would be from a manual bowl trimmer. So doing a really good job so far keeping those buds intact. Here it is, guys, the final product, the Smoky stash trimmed in the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer. It took less than 7 minutes to trim around 155 grams. In the future, the Time might vary based on the variety and volume of buds, but typically a half pound can be trimmed in 3 to 5 minutes. If the result isn't expected, you can extend the trimming time. Also, some touch-up work might be needed. Not much touch-up work was needed for the Smokeys stash. In my opinion, the Hygrohub 3000 XL bud trimmer trimmed these buds almost perfect. It didn't beat up the buds and kept most of these trichomes intact. You can see a few buds showing lower stems, which means some of the lower bud got trimmed off, but other than a few buds here and there, not much bud loss at all. The Smoky stash might be some of my best buds yet, and the Hygrohub 3000 did an amazing job taking care of them. Like I said earlier, the 3000 XL bud trimmer values at $19.99. It services for wet and dry bud trimming. It can trim a massive 12 pounds per hour of dry material or up to 27 pounds per hour of wet. The most important feature is its gentle touch, keeping those trichomes intact. Again, the link is in the description, and use code Autoflower25 to take 25% off. And this is where I'm going to end today's video. I want to give a big shout out to Hygrohub for sending their 3000 XL bud trimmer. Make sure to tune in next time when we go back inside the grow tent with the mystery mezcala from Alabrije Genetics and follow its journey from seed to harvest. If you want to help support the grow tent, head over to my Patreon page. The link is in the description. The more members I get, the more I can do. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.